just woke up. Let's see if I read any better when I'm tired. The cruiser pulled in beside Jesse's truck. Dillard opened the car door and got out. The police chief was a big man, over 6 feet tall, and while he might have been pushing 60, he still looked like he could knock over a tree. He was in his civilian clothes, a pair of jeans and a tan hunting jacket, and while you could never have made Jesse admit it, he could see how a woman might find Dillard's strong jaw and ruggedness attractive, like a rock, Jesse thought. He looks like the kind of man you can count on. Jesse, Linda whispered, her voice urgent. Please don't make no trouble. Just go, please. Jesse didn't like it. Linda didn't seem merely put out. She seemed nervous, anxious. He'd never seen her act like this. Dillard locked steely gray eyes on Jesse, pushed his jacket open just far enough to reveal his service pistol. Just the man I've been looking for. He was just leaving, Linda called. Then, softly to Jesse, now go, please, for me. She pushed him along. Jesse walked down the steps, across the driveway, and over to his truck. Dillard's cold eyes followed him the whole way. Mind holding up there a sec, Jesse? Need a word with you. Linda, do me a favor, would you? Head on in and give us men a bit of space. Linda hesitated. Go on now, be a good gal. Dillard, I was just hoping that maybe... Linda, Dillard said, a strained edge to his voice. You need to go on inside now. Linda bit her lip, gave Jesse one more pleading look, then hurried inside. Jesse wondered what was going on. The Linda he knew would never let a man cow her like that. Was that the same Linda he'd torn up the honky-tonks with? The same woman he'd seen slug a man for grabbing her ass? Dillard strolled around the cruiser, right up to Jesse, looked him up and down. Here there was a spot of trouble out at your place last night. Jesse said nothing. You know anything about that? Maybe hear something, see something? I did. Saw everything. Santa and his reindeer landed and were attacked by 6 devil men. They flew up into the sky and Santa tossed one of them overboard. Jesse said all this without breaking a smile. I think the man you're looking for has a long white beard. Dillard frowned, rubbed a spot on his forehead like he was getting a headache, then just stared at Jesse for a long moment, as though trying to figure out what he was. Jesse, I knew your mother and father pretty well, and neither of them was stupid. How come you turn out that way? Jesse crossed his arms and spat on the driveway. You just asking me to do this the hard way? Dylan's tone made it clear that he was done dicking around. The only thing I'm asking you to do is stay the hell away from my wife and daughter. Dillard let out a long sigh, like a man dealing with a child. I think me and you need to have a talk, you know, a man-to-man sort of thing, because there ain't no need for this to go down the path it's heading. He pulled out a pack of cigarettes, placed one in his mouth, and offered one to Jesse. Jesse looked at the cigarette as though it were poison. Dillard lit the cigarette, took a long, deep drag, and slowly exhaled. I understand that it ain't easy for you, son. I wouldn't like it if I were in your shoes, not one bit. So I'm just gonna say it, because someone needs to. It's over between you and Linda. Linda knows it, and I think you know it too. All you're doing now is making things hard on everyone, especially that little girl of yours. Jesse bristled. You two need to get a divorce, make it official. I'll even help you out with the paperwork if need be. I'm tired of you making her feel bad. You need to man up and cut it off clean so everyone can move on with their lives. That ain't gonna happen. Yes, it is gonna happen, and it's gonna happen soon, because Linda and me is planning to get married. Jesse fell back a step. What? Sorry, son, I didn't want it to go down like this. No, Jesse shook his head. I don't think so. There ain't no way. I'm not gonna let it happen, ever. Let me make this plainer. I'm not asking, you understand? We're gonna get married just as soon as we get you taken care of, that is. Now there's a couple of ways of taking care of you, and it's pretty much up to you to choose. Jesse held up a shaky finger. Don't back me into a corner, Dillard. You don't want to do that. Dillard laughed, shook his head. Jesse, if you had even a tenth of balls you think you do, you just might be worth a goddamn. Son, the only reason I haven't taken you out of the picture is because you do a little business for the general. You know full well that it won't take much of anything to put you away. Why, I could slap cuffs on you right now for whatever reason I fancy, and you'd be on your way to prison. Is that what you want? You do that, and I won't be the only one on my way to prison. Dillard's eyes squeezed to mere slits. What did you say? I think you know what I just said. You take away the only thing that matters to a man, and you got a man with nothing left to lose. A man like that just might start talking. The side of Dillard's face twitched. He took a step toward Jesse. You need to dig that cat shit out of your ears, boy, and listen up. There's more than one way to make you disappear, and no one's gonna even notice one way or another either, because there ain't a soul around that's gonna miss a piece of trash like you. Jesse gritted his teeth, forced himself to hold his ground, to hold Dillard's eyes, but he found himself fighting back tears. Had Linda really agreed to marry this old bastard? He glared at Dillard. I don't believe it. I don't believe she'd ever agree to marry an old fuck like you. Dillard let out another one of those long sighs, then shook his head and chuckled. Jesse, Jesse, Jesse. I can't believe I'm letting myself get all worked up over a numbskull like you. I just keep forgetting how thick-headed you are. He took another long drag off his cigarette. Let me tell you something about yourself. Make it as plain and as simple as possible. You're a loser, Jesse. A no-account loser. That's why you live in a tiny rat trap. That's why you still drive your daddy's old rust heap. And most of all, that's why Linda is done with you. Now, I can tell you this all fucking day till I'm blue in the face, but it won't mean beans because nothing's gonna sink into that thick skull of yours unless it's hammered in. So I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna prove it to you in a way that even you can understand. Dillard walked back to the front of his cruiser and pulled a pistol from his holster. Jesse tensed. Sure the man was about to shoot him dead right there. Jesse tensed. Sure the man was about to shoot him dead right there in the drive. But he just clicked off the safety and sat the gun on the hood. Dillard then proceeded to walk down the drive, leaving the gun sitting there, leaning up against the garage door. Took a deep drag off his cigarette and looked up at the trees as though he was out enjoying the day and nothing more. Jesse glanced back and forth between the gun and Dillard. He didn't get it. Jesse, you know what I'm about to do, huh? Jesse chuckled. I'll tell you. Oh. Jesse, you know what I'm about to do, huh? Dillard chuckled. I'll tell you. Right after I finish this smoke, I'm gonna go inside this nice big house of mine. I'm gonna take that pretty wife of yours upstairs, and then, well, I'm gonna shove my big hard prick right in her sweet little mouth. What? Jesse gasped. That's right. Gonna make her slobber all over my knob, smack her ass, and make her bark and whine. Now, if you're inclined to stop me, all you have to do is pick up that gun right there and shoot me. It's that simple. Jesse squinted at him, and his hands clenched into fists. What? What the fuck is wrong with you? Fuck you. Is that all you got, son? I'm about to go in there and make your wife choke on my broom handle. Gonna blow my load all over her face, and all you can do is cuss me? If a man done that to my wife, said it right to my face like that, I'd shoot him dead regardless, because that's what a real man does. Jesse looked at the gun. Dillard grinned. You won't do it, Jesse. I know this for a fact. If there's anything that I'm good at, it's taking measure of a man. 30 years on the force will do that. And I could tell from the very first time I set eyes on you that you were one of those nobodies who don't matter squat, a loser. And now, Jesse, you know it too. Jesse glared at Dillard, then at the gun, back and forth, his heart drumming. He took a step forward, then another, until he stood right beside the gun. All he had to do was pick it up and shoot. There was nothing Dillard could do to stop him. Come on, Jesse, you ain't got all day. And the worst of it was, Dillard looked so confident, so completely at ease. This was not a man wagering his life. This was one who was absolutely sure of himself. Jesse's breath sped up. His hand began to tremble. Do it. Shoot him. But he didn't. And right then, he saw exactly what Dillard was showing him. I am a loser. Don't have the guts to shoot myself. Don't have the guts to shoot the man screwing my wife. Don't even have the guts to send my music off to some jackass DJ. Jesse let out a long breath, fell back a step, and just stood there staring at the gun. Dillard flicked his cigarette butt into the snow, walked up to the hood of the cruiser, and retrieved his gun. He shoved it back into his holster. Believe it or not, son, I ain't trying to be a dick. I'm trying to do you a favor, trying to save you years of heartbreak. The man needs to know himself, and now you can see you're just sort of the man you can see you're just the sort of man you truly are. Maybe you'll quit trying so hard to be something you ain't. Go home, Jesse. Go home to that piece of shit trailer of yours and get drunk, and do us all a favor and just disappear. Jesse barely heard him. He just kept staring at the spot where the gun had been. Okay, Jesse, I'm done with you. Done talking, done wasting my time. I'm going in. And when I look out the window in a few, out the window in a few, you and that rig of yours best be gone. And just so we're clear, just so there ain't a lick of confusion between us, if you ever set foot on my property again, ever, I'll break every one of your fingers. I'll break every one of your fingers. I mean that. You won't be playing that guitar of yours ever again. Dillard turned and walked away, leaving Jesse staring at the car hood.